Good afternoon, proletariat! Welcome to Turbo Tuesday. Here at MBT Industries, we are constantly innovating our way to the Yugist revolution. The working duelists of the world can't be led by just anyone, so before we can begin disassembling the oppressive metagame, we need to locate the boss to end all bosses, combing through 20 years of Yu-Gi-Oh! History in the process. As always, we'll give any fledgling leader of the Vanguard a quick once-over, a chance to prove themselves, and a performance review that will determine if they'll be called back to the next round of interviews, or if they'll need a little effect adjustment in our re-education facility. Today we have a card for which I, unfortunately, had to read more GX lore. Presenting Darkness NEOSPHERE. Before we check out today's corporate stooge, however, a word about our sponsor. This video is sponsored by Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro Deck, the best online site for database searching, deck building, and strategy articles, all conveniently located at www.ygoprodeck.com. Now let's take a look at that resume. This card cannot be normal summoned or set. This card cannot be special summoned except by sending one fiend-type monster you control and one fiend-type monster from your hand to the graveyard when your opponent's monster declares an attack. This card cannot be destroyed by battle. Once per turn, you can return all face-up trap cards you control to the hand. Well, that's not good. It is, however, accessible. You know what they always say, if you can't be impressive, you can at least be present. At least, that's always what I was told by my parents. I wonder why. Anyway, this amounts to a big-ass boss we can summon with a negligible opportunity cost. Let's give them a shot in Burning Abyss, and none of this PK Fire Zoomer nonsense. I'm talking about good old-fashioned, hard and fast BA. No frills, no decorations, and no damn warriors. Oh, I guess we should also play a Floodgate to make use of NEOSPHERE's second effect, but let's not pretend like the 4K body isn't the main incentive behind this list. So with that, let's send our leader to the Edo Pro ladder. So it's time for our performance review, and our opponent is playing Megalith. Wow, to think at one point both of these decks were playing Block Dragon. The pair of us have lost a kingdom, have we not? Our opponent's going first. They're going to lead with a copy of Incantation Pensaplume. That's going to summon from deck a copy of Talismandra, whose effect will activate in order to add a ritual monster from deck to hand. From here, they'll activate Extra Foolish Burial, taking 4,000 life points to send a Herald of the Arclight to the graveyard, and get a copy of Incantation Inception. They'll tag into a copy of Ophiel, whose effect they will trigger in order to get a Megalith to hand, before activating its second effect to go into a Hagith. They'll trigger the effect of Hagith for an unformed, then Eratron in order to summon another Hagith from hand. They'll trigger Hagith for a copy of Portal, before activating this copy of Unformed in order to ritual summon from deck a copy of Fool. They'll activate the effect of Fool to get back the Eratron and the effect of Portal to get the Ophiel. From here they can activate the on-field effect of Fool in order to get the Ophiel back and trigger its effect in order to add to hand a copy of Bathor. We are going to have to deal with that at minimum. Well, let's start off with a copy of Card of the Soul. Since we have 8,000 life points, we can search the 4,000 attack and defense in NEOSPHERE. We'll activate Allure of Darkness and then fire off a drawn copy of Infinite Impermanence on the Fool, reducing our opponent's board to 0. We'll go into a Cherubini and activate the effect of Fiendish Rhino Warrior to send a copy of Graph at 2, by the way, to go into a Skarm. We'll special summon a copy of Seer and then overlay for Dante, at which point our opponent will activate Eratron for Bathor, popping our entire field. Unfortunately for them, Cherubini cannot be destroyed if it points to something, and we will go ahead and send the Dante as a result. Next, we're going to activate the effect of Calcab and the effect of Rubik as well. We'll be able to overlay for another Dante and fire off 3. Let's see what we hit. Farfa is good enough. We'll go ahead and banish that copy of Bathor and then walk over the Pensaplume before making a copy of Beatrice in main phase 2 and at end step triggering Skarm. Now, we don't have any fiends on field right now, but I do know how we can get one. Our opponent's going to overlay for a Dingirsu. We're going to chain the effect of Beatrice. We'll send a Dante to the graveyard alongside a Graph. We'll trigger the effect of the Graph and the Dante in order to put Seer back in hand and Libic on our side of the field, who will die by its own condition, allowing us to special summon this Barbar. As they attack it, we'll summon NEOSPHERE! Get over this bungus, fool! We'll trigger about 15 Burning Abysses in graveyard as well, doming our opponent for 900 and specialing back a Dante. They do get to walk over this copy of Beatrice, but her graveyard effect will trigger and will go into Big Purple Man. They'll activate Extra Foolish Burial, going down to 1550 life points in order to... What? Entis our NEOSPHERE? That's it? All that setup and all it did was eat an Entis? Okay, we should be able to win from this position. They go into Zeus. We're able to destroy it with Nightmare Cerberus. We'll activate Fiendish Rhino Warrior's effect in the graveyard to send a Barbar, doming our opponent for 900 points of damage, at which point we can normal summon a Seer and get in for lethal. Well, we're back, and... God, I miss Burning Abyss. Anyway, how did this duality of dinguses perform? Let's consult our super scientific metrics above. I'm giving this Angle or Euro Devil a 3 in terms of consistency. With Card of the Soul, we had 6 ways to find NEOSPHERE, and doing so was a cinch. I'm giving this worst BA splash since Kaiju a 3 in terms of investment. It costs you almost nothing, and the deck's as consistent as it's ever been. I'm giving this Voracious Vanilla a 1 in terms of payoff. This was more a demonstration of how powerful Burning Abyss can be against a deck ill-equipped to deal with it than a demonstration of darkness. That said, my final verdict is a pass on Darkness Neosphere. Jillian, prepare the Dark Dormitory.